Teresa with BeCozi.net is here. BeCozi.net and BeCozi.com is an American website with the biggest collection of chunky yarns in the United States. We're making these videos to promote our yarns, and we have about 210 videos now on our YouTube channel, which is BeCozi. Today I will be promoting our chunky chenille yarn, BeCozi Chunky Chenille. We will be making this gorgeous blanket in 5 different colors, actually 6. The 6th color will be white. So we will start with the eggplant, then we will use white, then light lavender, aquamarine, white, and misty green, and taupe on the top. So this beautiful pattern is kind of similar to one of the patterns our customer Verna created. So you can see her and other fellow knitters creation in our Facebook group. It's called BeCozi Hand Knitting Club. So if you're on Facebook, please make sure to join our Facebook group, BeCozi Hand Knitting Club. You can see beautiful ideas for blankets and other items, and you can share your creations. It's an amazing group, BeCozi Hand Knitting Club. Today we will be making this blanket, so you will need 1 skein of each color. Eggplant, light lavender, aquamarine, misty green, and taupe, and 2 skeins of white. It's 7 skeins altogether. It will give you this size of the blanket, which is 40 by 60. It's a medium size. It's enough to cover a medium-sized person sitting on the couch from the top, from leg area to the shoulder area. And this blanket looks really beautiful on another side too. So this is the back side. And it will be a great gift for anybody you love. Mother's Day is coming, so you can make it for your mom for Mother's Day. So go to BeCozi.com, get the yarn. It's not available in any craft store, and we're shipping around the United States and the world. And let's get started. Okay guys, let's get started. So we will be starting with our beautiful eggplant, and then we will work on white, and all the other colors will be added after that. So we're taking our eggplant. Let's find the end of it. And now we are placing the yarn in front of us. We are making a knot on the end. The knot prevents yarn from unraveling when the blanket is used or washed. So when you make a knot, then you can cut the tail close to the knot. And now we will start. So to start, we are doing the following. This is the tail. This is working yarn. Working yarn goes on the top like that. We're making a loop. Now you insert your hand inside the loop. Grab working yarn. Now take the tail in working yarn and pull this loop or your first stitch up. So we just made first stitch. Now pull working yarn down, and you will make the stitch a little bit smaller because it was a little bit too big. So we will have it about over inch wide or tall. So what are we doing now? Now we will be making a cast on chain, and to make it we will insert our hand inside the stitch, then we will grab this working yarn and pull it out. So we just made second stitch. You can see that both stitches are the same. Now I will be pressing the bottom of the second stitch, inserting my 2 fingers, grabbing working yarn and pulling it out. Why I'm pressing this button? Because this way the stitch will be the same size it was when I made it, and then you make a next stitch approximately the same size. So we have 3 stitches, and now we will repeat. Press the bottom of the stitch, insert your hand, grab working yarn and pull it out. So we have 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4. What we will be doing, we will keep casting on this way. until we have 24 stitches. 24 or 25 stitches, depending how tight you're knitting, will give you the width of the blanket 40 inches, and that is our goal. We're making a blanket 40 by 60. So it's the easiest way to cast on for hand knitting, and when we are done, we will count all the stitches to make sure it's 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3. Oops, and 4. So now we have 24 stitches, guys. What are we doing now? When you have this beautiful chain finished, cast on chain, you turn it on another side, and we are doing it to have this beautiful chain on the bottom of the blanket. So when you put it here, working yarn will go on the back, and we will be knitting starting with this first stitch. Okay, so I am going from underneath, inserting my hands, grabbing working yarn, pull it out, and this is your first stitch. Starting the next stitch, we will be knitting the middle part of the stitch. So see, the stitch consists of three parts: top, bottom, and the middle part. We will be using the middle part. We'll insert our fingers, grab working yarn, and pull it through this stitch. So find the next one, not the top, not the bottom, the middle part. Insert your fingers, grab working yarn, and pull it out. So now we will be pulling out our first row, and make sure that the chain is laying even, and make sure that you are knitting the middle part of the stitch, because this way you will have this beautiful chain on the bottom of the blanket. If you want to use top or the bottom of the stitch, it's also possible, but the bottom of the blanket will look quite different. So I like to have a beautiful chain on the bottom, on the top, and on both sides of the blanket. And for this reason, we will be also knitting a little bit maybe different that you expect on the sides. So here we are, we're almost done with all the stitches. So the yarn is moving. We are done with our first row, so I'm moving this knot a little bit closer to the stitch like that. So now we will be simply knitting our second row, guys. And to knit the second row, we will insert our fingers inside this first stitch, then grab working yarn and pull it out. Then do the same to all the other stitches. This is a simple knitting stitch, and this blanket is a combination of knitting and purling stitches. It's two most popular, the easiest stitches that are being used in knitting, and particularly in hand knitting, and just alternating the stitches, you can make a really beautiful blanket like we're doing now. So now we will be finishing our first row, and then I will show you when I'm starting the row number 3, I am skipping the first stitch. So make sure you are knitting all stitches, specifically the last stitch. You are knitting it because it's all knitted stitches here. And then when we are starting our next row, row number 4 or 3, 1, 2, 3, yeah, we are skipping this stitch. So it's simply sitting here, don't need to do anything. The working yarn goes on the, where we are knitting that direction. You are inserting your hands inside the second stitch and you are knitting it. and this stitch is simply sitting here, and we will be doing it on both sides, as I mentioned. That will give us a beautiful chain on the side, on both sides actually. So what we are doing now, guys, I will be using the whole skein of eggplant, simply knitting back and forth. And then when I am done with this whole skein, I will come back and I will show you how to attach white part of the yarn. So here we are, and let me show you. I'm skipping the first stitch on this side too, so the stitch is sitting here, and then we're simply going inside the second and make a stitch. So I will be doing it, and then I will be back when I'm done with eggplant color, and I will show you what to do next. Okay, guys, so I am done with my skein of eggplant color, and I have this leftover yarn that is not enough to finish the whole row. So what I will do, I will just simply cut it, and I will be cutting it very close to the last stitch, so it's about like 1.5 inches, and then this one will be just a leftover yarn. So what we are doing now, we will be using white color in the between of dark colors, but we will need to divide it in two. Okay, so how we will do it, we will find the end of the yarn. And this yarn was shipped to us in a compressed bag, so it's a little bit lost its fluffiness. So you can see it's a little bit like on the not as fluffy. So what we will be doing, we will be fluffing out at the same time when we're working on separating this skein in two parts. Okay, so we'll put the end over here. And then I will throw the skein on the floor, and then I will be rubbing this yarn in between of my fingers like that. That will spread the fibers out, and that will make yarn fluffy again. And at the same time, we will do what we need to do, because we need only half skein of white for the those white parts that you saw on the blanket at the beginning. Okay, so here we are. We've ended with this end. What are we doing now? I am placing them together, holding them with this hand, and then I'm actually doing the same. I am fluffing them together through my fingers or through my nails like that. It will make the yarn really fluffy, and you don't need to do it if your yarn is fluffy enough. You just need to follow this to find this spot. This spot is the middle of the skein, and that's what we need. So one of the skeins, half of the skein, I will just make into a ball, and I will be using it in between all dark colors or darker colors on this blanket. And the other one I will show you how to use now. So here we are. We're taking that second part of or half of the ball of white. Okay, so now we will connect these two parts into with a simple knot. I'm sorry. So simple knot, and then pull it in both directions. And when you can feel that there is no way to pull, then you are cutting this tails close to the knot. This is the simplest way to connect the yarn. You can also use the burning way of connecting. I use it sometimes, but mostly I'm using this way of connecting. So what are we doing now, guys? We are now using a simple purling stitch. So this was all knitted stitches. Now it will be purling. We're taking our stitch and we're not skipping it because we're introducing new color, and we're pushing new color through the stitch like that. Take another stitch and push yarn through. And this combination of knitted and now purled stitch will give us this beautiful connection of two colors that looks so beautiful on the finished blanket. Okay, so you need to remember that when we are knitting this pattern, we are knitting, making simple knitting stitch for all darker colors, and when we are using white color, we are always purling. Okay, so it's easy to remember, when you're using white, you're always purling. So here's our first row. You can see how beautiful it looks, this connection. And we will keep purling this white chunky chenille yarn the same way, only different direction, taking a stitch and push yarn through. This is a simple purling stitch. We will be doing it until we use all of our white yarn. Make sure that you introduce in a new color, always introduce a new color at the beginning of the row, not in the middle, not like 2/3 of the row. It should be always at the beginning of the row. If you don't have enough yarn to finish the whole row, cut the yarn at the end of the previous row and connect the next color. Only then the blanket will use very neat when it's finished. So meanwhile, I will be purling all this white yarn, and I will come back when I am done and I will show you what I will be doing next. Okay guys, so we are done with our white color. You see that they were all purled and we have this beautiful connection. We don't have enough yarn to go through the whole row to finish it, so I will cut the yarn the same way I cut the eggplant, and now we will connect our beautiful light lavender color. Okay, so to connect the same way, we will make a knot, 1 and 2, and then pull it in both directions until you can feel that there is no way to pull, and then we are cutting the tails close to the knot, and you will not really see it on the blanket. So now the trick is, when you introduce a new color after white, you will need to purl it. Okay, so take a stitch, push the yarn through, and just keep making simple purling stitch. The reason we're doing purling when we're introducing new yarn, the first row only, because we want the same, this beautiful connection that makes this blanket unique, so that it would be the same here and here. So the first row of a new color after white, you will be purling, and then the next row we will be knitting. Okay, so that's the whole pattern. Knit all these stitches, then purl the new color, which is white, and then when you're done with all purling stitches for the white, you're purling one row of next color. And that's the whole pattern. So now we are going back to knitting. We are simply making knitting stitch, and then we will be knitting all stitches until we are done with all this beautiful light lavender color. After light lavender, I will be connecting our beautiful aquamarine, or the label actually says teal, but we call it aquamarine now. And then it will be misty green and taupe, and in between of all those colors there will be white. Okay, so I will keep doing it this way until I am done with the whole blanket, and I will come back and show you how to finish it. Okay guys, so I am done with all 5 colors. So again, this is beautiful eggplant and then white, and then light lavender, white, aquamarine, white, and after that I use some misty green, white, and taupe. So we are done with all the colors. Now I left 3 widths of the blanket. It's actually more like 4. And now you need to have at least 3.5 widths of the blanket to finish or to cast off. So for casting off, this is our working yarn. We're taking 2 stitches together, and then you're taking this working yarn, and working yarn goes through 2 stitches. Now you made 1 stitch here, see? Now you keep it on your hand, and then you're adding 2nd stitch, and then you're pushing stitch through. So that is the simplest way to cast off knitting 2 stitches at a time. Just make sure that the stitch didn't run away, like here, see, it can run away. Make sure that the stitch is there, and then keep knitting 2 stitches at a time until you reach the end. Okay, so guys, we have just 2 stitches left. We are knitting them together, and this is our last stitch. So this is our beautiful chain on the top, and as I mentioned to you, I like this chain to be the same as on the bottom here. See, a beautiful chain on the bottom and on the top. So what are we doing now? We are finishing the blanket by pulling this working yarn or the end through the last stitch, and then you just pull it and you are finished. So now you are done with the blanket. We will cut the tail, making it shorter. We don't need it very long. We will make a knot on the end, cut the tail close to the knot, and we are now weaving the end. So I'm going underneath this beautiful chain, 1 and 2 and 3, and then just hide this tail on the back, tuck it in underneath any stitch. See, you will not really see it because it's tucked in. So we have this beautiful blanket finished on the top. Now we can finish on the bottom too. The same way, we have a knot here when we started, going underneath this chain, one way and then another, and then one more, and then we're simply going underneath a few stitches, hiding this knot, and here we are. You don't really see it. So a beautiful blanket is done, guys. Go to our website, BeCozi.com, buy this beautiful vibrant color or any other you want. We have 45 colors available, and make this beautiful blanket, maybe for your mom for Mother's Day, and stay warm and be cozy. Hey guys, my hand knitting book is ready for you to purchase. It can be purchased at BeCozi.com and on Amazon, and also available as an e-Kindle. It's a perfect gift for yourself or your loved one. It's the most unique gift and book on the knitting market.